Then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take no loss. My team hold no L's, no. Aiming for the top, can't make it by myself. I ain't taking no loss. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. I ain't taking no loss. Look, I'ma always win. We already know that we the coldest. Watch me heat it up, let me focus.
Yeah, it's Christian and Kevin here live on NYY Underground. It's Thursday night, February 19th. It's the eve before the New York Yankees play their first spring training game. So we said, hey, let's pop on here, give everybody a little taste of what the Bronx or Nowhere is going to look like when we officially debut in March. Kev, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. You know, getting a little appetizer for the regular season, a little spring training. You know what I'm saying? So, feeling good. A few things were said. We're gonna talk about it. A few moves. Let's see where the Yankees pan out.
I haven't talked to you in a while. It's we did
Allegedly.
Allegedly, okay. We did the NNYYST episode where we announced the partnership, and I think we did a drive run about a month ago. So we haven't really sat down and had a long form conversation about the Yankees in a while. So I said, it's probably a good time to, kick the tires on this thing and get some timing down. And, the eve of the first spring training game sounded like a good time to do that. So I want to ask you this, Kev.
Uh-oh.
Now that Run It Back 26, the puzzle is put together. What is your take on the 2026 Yankees? Do you think that this team can actually get further than the 2025 team?
I don't know if they could win it all. I don't know if I'm that deep into drinking the Kool-Aid, but I was talking well in our chat, I was saying this rotation, again, if healthy, could be really, really good. And I do think that they could get farther than what they were. It's up to them to see if they win it all. But I do feel like them now that we're seeing Cole, his BP, also Carlos is throwing already. Now that we get into the flow of spring training, I think everybody gets to sip a little bit of the Kool-Aid juice. I'm gonna see if you guys are or not, but I think that this team, I don't again, I'm not gonna say they're gonna win it all, but I do think they could get farther than where they were last year.
So how does Brian Cashman's boot taste there?
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Now, listen, the question remains, is Run It Back 26, that's the official title of the Yankees this year, Run It Back 26, okay, copyrighted 2026, NYYST Incorporated, okay. Is Run It Back 26, what does that actually mean? Well, does that mean the Yankees are a playoff team? In my mind, yeah, that means the Yankees are a playoff team. Does that mean the Yankees are going to win the American League East this year? I
No,
got
that's
it. Well, exactly. Does that mean the Yankees are winning the East this year? Because we cannot even begin to talk about the Yankees getting back to a World Series without talking about whether or not they can win this division. If the Yankees have to go through the wild card again this year, we might as well just pack up the bags early. I don't see this team getting through the wild card and all the way through the American League playoffs and into the World Series. You could say whatever you want to say about how they handled Toronto last year. Toronto beat the brakes off of the Yankees every chance that they got last year. Yankees actually played them pretty well at Yankee Stadium. They split the two games that they had in Yankee Stadium in the postseason. The Yankees won both series, played in the Bronx 2 games out of 3 in the regular season. So the Yankees did play Toronto better in the Bronx. The problem was the Yankees looked like they absolutely did not belong on the same field with the Blue Jays in what do they call it? Is it still called the Rogers Center? I don't know what the hell they do up there. Those maple syrup chugging bastards.
Who cares, bro?
Scott writes in the chat. I'm sorry, I know he's Canadian. Okay.
Oh shit, Scott, sorry.
Let's Kyle Millay, thank you for the super chat, brother. Baseball is back. Let's go Yankees, absolutely. But if the Yankees can't win this division, do you automatically say there's no chance in hell that they're going to the World Series, or do you still leave the door open? Because I don't think that extra round and the fact that we saw it last year about how poorly they played up in Toronto, and knowing Toronto's probably going to be the one standing in their way again, that if they have to play the majority of those games back in Toronto, where that decisive game is in Toronto, that you actually like the Yankees' chances of getting through the division series next year?
Well, I don't even want to count Boston out. I mean,
No.
No, because
Let me say, you're scared of Sonny Gray. You're buying
no,
you're
no, no.
eating the Kool-Aid on
Hold
Sonny
on.
Gray.
And my thing was in the wild card. If you got Boston winning the division, it's one thing. I think the Yankees could definitely beat the Toronto Blue Jays in the wild card. Because they don't have, to me, they don't have a true ace. I know Trey Savage had that outstanding performance. I doubt that replicates again. I doubt it.
Then
So
you can't talk out of both sides of your mouth and be hypocritical and expect Cam Schlittler to be an ace this year if you're saying your Savage can't be one.
I don't think Cam is going to be what we saw from Game 3, but do I think he's going to be a solid pitcher? Yes. My whole thing is that who has a better 1-2, the Blue Jays or Boston, who has Ranger and Crochet? So that's what I'm saying. So if
Gerrit Cole is the best pitcher in the division.
the third, okay, yeah, I thought it was in baseball. I thought you were gonna say I'll give him number 3. But my whole thing is, I think that, and let me know if you agree here. Even though Detroit kind of stacked their rotation, air quotes, I don't know where they're going to be depending on where they are. I think the Yankees' biggest hurdle to get to the World Series is in their own division. We have to be realistic with the Blue Jays as well. They lost Bo Bichette, which is a huge bat, even though he didn't hit in our series. But for them, for the entire year, that's a huge bat that they lost. And Santander is going to be out for half of the season. That's
And he
another
was out
huge
half.
bat.
I don't. That's not a factor to me because he missed a lot of time.
Yeah, but
last
we
year.
kind of counted that Santander was going to be there, so he's going to make up a little bit of Bo's offense, but he's not. So, and I'm not afraid of Cease. I don't care what anybody says. I'm not that big fan of Cease.
No,
To me,
I'm
he's
not
too
either.
inconsistent. So I think that the real hurdle in the Bronx is Boston, then Toronto. That's me. I don't know how you feel. If you think it's Toronto, that's fine. I'm not going to take that away from you, but I think it's Boston.
I need to see Boston put this full season together. I need to see Roman Anthony. I need to see Marcelo Meyer. I need to see Sonny Gray not spit all over himself in a big market. I need to see all those things. I need to see Aroldis Chapman back up what he did last year and not decide that he's going to give himself a jailhouse tattoo in Fenway Park. I need to see all these things happen. Do I respect Boston? Yeah, I think Boston's going to be right in the mix for everything. I think this is going to be a slugfest. This is going to be a bloody fight throughout the summer between the Yankees, Toronto, and Boston. I'm going to give Baltimore their flowers. I think they did a lot of nice things this year,
Yeah.
picking up Pete and Helsley and some of the other moves that they made. I think that they're going to be much more competitive. Do I think they're a playoff team? No. I
No.
think that I think Tampa's going to finish in last. But that doesn't mean that Toronto keep saying Toronto. That doesn't mean I think Tampa's going to be a pushover. This is going to be a fight to the finish here, and I do think it's the Yankees, Toronto, and Boston. And right now, I would have to say the Yankees would be looking up at one of those two teams. I still am going to give it to Toronto because I saw what they did last year. So until somebody knocks them down a step or they show that they can be knocked down a step, I'm going to still say they're probably the favorite. And then it's really the argument becomes who finishes second and who's going to host the wild card series. Because if the Yankees have to go up to Boston, and this is my opinion, and obviously things can change as we go through the season here. If the Yankees have to go up to Boston to play the wild card series, now that's something that you're not going to feel all too confident about. So the Yankees, so let's get back to the original point here. Run it back 26. Is it good enough to win a division? Well, if it's not, then it was worthless to do this. Okay. If they don't win the division, it was absolutely worthless to try this. And I think, I don't know if you're in agreement with this. I firmly believe this. I wish they would have not gone down this road. I wish they would have tried something different here because of what we saw, especially in the postseason last year.
It's funny because it's completely opposite of what the other side of town is doing. The other side of town blew it up. A lot of their fans wanted some of those guys back, right? And they blew it up. And their GM said, "I'm tired of this fucking whore," and blew it up. And we'll talk about Judge's comments where it kind of talks about running it back again. But it's like, yes, I agree that the Yankees, that it's not going to be worth it if they don't go past what they did last year. But at the end of the day, the only real guy that I wanted was Bo. I don't want to stick up for Cashman because I still think that he still should have got out there and got Bo Bichette. You needed a righty bat. We still don't have a righty bat. Shit, we're going again this year running it back literally with the same holes we had, which is 3 lefty catchers. So again, my whole thing is the starting rotation, and they're banking on it. I think way too much. If they would have got out and got Peralta, I would have been way more confident. But the Yankees again, and this is not. A lot of people will go and say, "Well, that could be for any team." No, one injury in the rotation could set the Yankees back a lot. And even though I love Lagrange and Lagrange, and I love
Lagrange. It's
Lagrange,
Lagrange.
I love Lagrange and I love Elmer. I still don't. You can't count those guys. I'm like, oh, we got those guys. We're gonna be good. No, that's not the way it works. You just never know. So I'll answer your first question, obviously, because I'm going in circles here. But no, the Yankees will not win the division. I don't think they will. I do not think they will win the division. The way you're running it back with the same team that got obliterated by Boston and Toronto during the regular season. So how do you have faith in that same team that they're going to play better when the other teams got better? At least Boston got better. Maybe but Toronto stayed the same. So again,
Well,
no, I don't
Toronto
think so.
stayed the same. You stayed the same, and you weren't as good as Toronto last year.
Correct. But when it comes to playoffs, though, Christian, in the Toronto series, our starting pitching let us down completely. Max Fried looked like a shell of himself. So did Rodon. So we do have to call that out. Now, it wasn't not only the offense. Our starting rotation just was complete ass.
Well, this is the next point that I'm going to make. The Yankees, and correct me if I'm wrong here, felt all along they were Gerrit Cole away from getting past Toronto and into the postseason, into the World Series last year. So what have they done to disprove that point?
It's going to be up to Gerrit Cole.
Right? They've done absolutely nothing to change that idea, that narrative out there that they felt that they were a healthy Gerrit Cole away from going to the World Series last year. And I apologize. I know my Wi-Fi is acting up. I've just kind of did some different things in here. I'm going to have it all fixed up before we're ready to go in March. But if I'm chunking out here, I do apologize. So they felt that. That was the report. They felt that they were a healthy Gerrit Cole away from going to the World Series last year. And that they looked at this offseason as the big move was that they were getting Gerrit Cole back this year. Are you calling David Weathers a big move or more of a lottery ticket?
It's a high upside. It's a high upside move. I mean, we do have to also take into effect the entire thing where we don't have Devin Shit Williams on the squad shitting all over the mound in the 9th inning. That I mean, again, if he saves one of those games that he was up there, we win the division.
But you can't rely on addition by subtraction. You can't. To me, that's not the way to build a baseball team.
Absolutely
not. Saying we lost this guy, he sucked for us last year, so that automatically makes us better. This whole idea that Brian Cashman was spouting off about last year, that it's not a couple weeks ago, whenever it was, that it's not run it back because Ryan McMahon's here a whole year and we don't have DJ LeMahieu and Oswald Peraza and whoever the hell else.
You mean the new shortstop, Ryan McMahon?
Yeah, or David Bednar's their closer all year. I don't know. You can disagree with me if you want to. I'm not mad that there are certain guys that took reps on this team last year in the regular season that are not gone. I'm mad that you did not change the team that lost in the postseason. We know that this Yankee team is good enough to win 90-plus games and be a postseason team. That is not my point. My point is that you did not improve a team that could not get past a divisional series last year. If we cannot talk about a team that has a legitimate chance to win a world championship, then what are we even doing?
Could we just all call a spade and say that the Yankees front office now moves towards just making it to the playoffs? And that is the main goal of the season. It is no longer to win it all. It's just let's get in and roll the dice. Because we've heard from the front office say those things for how long now? They use those type of, it's a crapshoot. Oh, this, that, and they say these sayings that we hear the Yankees say that it's right in front of us. Now we're hearing the sea legs and the maiden voyage bullshit with the Volpe. He's been here his 4th year, which, by the way, somebody said, why are we giving up on Volpe? That's insane. He hasn't been able to hold a fucking 300 on base percentage in 3 years. I don't know what you want to keep giving that guy a run, but I think that the Yankees they want to dabble in that. Oh no, we're still the Yankees, but deep down inside, I think every every hardcore fan that's been a Yankee fan since the 90s, that saw the dynasty, that knew George, that knew that type of baseball that the Yankees played in the 90s all the way to now, they know that this front office just wants to get in. And if they were fucking honest to us about it and be like, we're gonna get in and we're gonna go from there, then we can move forward. But no, they dance around by saying that we still are the Yankees, that we're not afraid to get any player that's out there. But we all deep down inside, they just want to get in. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but that's how I feel. I mean, I feel like they just want to get in.
This is the most expensive team in Yankee history, too, by the way.
The same team cost
more.
What was it, $32 million more than last year? 26 of the 28 players in the LDS are still on this roster.
You mean 24 out of 26?
Or something like that, yeah.
That's not how math works, bro. All right. Let's put a pin in that discussion for right now.
But do you agree with me that the front office just wants to get in?
Oh yeah, no, bro, because I heard this on WFAN yesterday or 2 days ago. Somebody was talking about it. Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone will never be fired because the Yankees don't win a World Series. They will only be fired if they crash and burn and they have a 73-win season and nobody's in the ballpark in August, because that's what's the most important thing to Hal Steinbrenner. And I completely agree with it, that keeping the ballpark full through September and getting a handful of home games in the postseason will keep Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone employed as long as they want to be. It will never be, well, this guy's been here a fucking decade now and hasn't won a world championship. That will never get him fired. It's just that, did he keep the team relevant, and did he get the team into the postseason? Because if that's the standard, if that's the bar for Aaron Boone, he's done his job. The only year that the Yankees under Aaron Boone have not made the postseason is when Aaron Judge ran into the wall in Los Angeles. And whether you love him or hate him, whatever side of the Aaron Boone coin you're on, you can't fire a guy after he lost his best player. It's just not the year to do it. There's plenty of other years to do it, but you're going to give him a pass for that year. So. Yeah, 340. I think the Yankees are paying. Is the payroll this year?
I heard 345. Michael K.
That's what Mary Ellen is putting in the chat. Who knows? Michael K. makes shit up.
The Yankees have become the late '90s Atlanta Braves. They're always there, either winning the division or not, but they never win it all.
I'll say this,
and that's sad.
Before we move on to a couple other topics here, Gerrit Cole has made himself the most. Maybe not the most important person, because it's obviously Aaron Judge, has made himself one of the most important players to this team this year. Because if you were telling everybody that he was the missing piece last year, we didn't have our ace healthy, and you saw the way that your left-handers got obliterated by the Toronto Blue Jays in the postseason, and Cam Schlittler pitched a good game against them. The only game that, not the only, I'm sorry, it wasn't, because they won Rodon's start. But the only well-pitched game by a starter last year, and what is Cam? A right-hander. You have put a heavy importance on Gerrit Cole this year. And I said this on NYYST this past weekend, and I'll say it again here. I'm okay with Gerrit Cole looking like a guy trying to get his feet wet, looking like a guy that is working his way back from Tommy John surgery from June 1st to September 1st. Whatever he does is irrelevant to me. When that calendar flips over to September, I need my ace on the mound. The Yankees need their ace on the mound. I think the Yankees have enough starting pitching. They're deep enough. There's a lot of question marks with everybody, no doubt about it. But I think they are deep enough to allow Gerrit Cole that grace period. But once September hits and you're in the stretch run for the division and into the postseason, he needs to be vintage Gerrit Cole. We cannot have a guy that's less than. He needs to be that guy, or the Yankees are really going to have a lot of trouble going anywhere in the postseason.
It's just something about having him ready in October, knowing that this is what he did even in 2024. I think that they recommended surgery in 2024, and he said, well, can I pitch if he took half of the season off? And I think that's what he did, because he understood how big having Soto was for this team.
There's no doubt about that.
And for him to do that, I have tremendous respect for him. And it just sucks that obviously defense let him down. But right now, to your point, I'm interested to the chat, to what the ones in the chat, if you think that this team will go further, the same team, the Run It Back 26 team, ones if you think they will go further, two if they won't. And do me a favor and smack that like and hit that sub. But Christian, since we were talking on, I got a question for you. Since we were talking about Cole, how do you feel knowing that his first bullpen he was sitting 96?
Oh, I've talked about it a lot. If you don't follow me on TikTok, do so, Christian.NYYST. Please subscribe to the NYYST podcast. We're still killing it there on your favorite podcast platform. New episodes every Monday morning. I've been talking about it. I love that he was sitting 96, and because that to me means there's more in the tank for Gerrit Cole. That when we need him to push it a little bit, it'll be there for him. Because Gerrit Cole is not going to do anything to jeopardize him getting back on the mound in June.
Mm-mm.
The Yankees are not going to allow Gerrit Cole to do anything to jeopardize to get him on the mound back on the mound in June. So if he's 96 in his first bullpen, that's a great sign that there's more for Gerrit Cole to give there.
Yeah, and I did a little bit of digging for Gerrit Cole because a lot of people were like, well, how do you know? You don't know what he's going to give you this year. But I will say this: if there's one of the pitchers coming back from Tommy John surgery that you think is going to be anything close to what he was, I think that pitcher right now in the majors is called Gerrit Cole. When you look at Verlander, when Verlander had his surgery, he was 3 years older than Cole. And he had I looked at it, and it was over 900 innings more pitched than Gerrit Cole. And that guy came back and won a Cy Young. So am I saying that Cole's going to do it? I'm not saying that. But can Cole be anything close to what he was coming back from Tommy John surgery? I absolutely think he can. So, and him just coming back in his first bullpen throwing 96, I was ecstatic. I thought he was going to be 92, 91. No, that guy's throwing 96 already in February. I'm so happy.
So Gerrit Cole back on the mound. That's a good sign for the Yankees. What would be a great sign for the Yankees if Jazz Chisholm is able to take the next step and really complete his game. And when I say complete his game, I mean be a better hitter. Now, if you guys have been following me all off season, one of the biggest things that I was on here was trading Jazz Chisholm. Okay, I wanted and it was part of this whole idea of not running it back and changing the core of this team because I was a big Bo Bichette guy. And if Bo Bichette can play third base for the Mets, he can play second base for the Yankees. And wouldn't you know it, the Yankees are not going to have a shortstop for the first, 4 to 6 weeks of the season, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes here. Okay. So you can move Bo Bichette around here a little bit, and he's a right-handed bat. Guess what the Yankees are? They're devoid of right-handed bats. If Giancarlo Stanton is healthy, okay, let's take that at face value that he's going to be healthy going into the season. You have him and Aaron Judge as the only two reliable right-handed bats in that lineup. Everybody else is left-handed.
Ahmed Rosario, bro.
Where's he playing?
They'll find the spot for him.
If they'll find a spot for him because they're the Yankees, smarter Yankees, right? They're probably going to go.
Nah, he matches lefties, dog. Don't shit on Ahmed like that.
Shut up for a second, okay?
You don't tell me what to do, man. Don't talk to Tio Ahmed like that.
I like Ahmed Rosario. I've been on record as saying I thought it was a great signing to bring him back as a bench player that has some versatility that can hit lefty pitching. But 1 through 9, is he one of your best 9 players? If you had to put your best 9 on the field to win a game, regardless of pitching, is he cracking the top 9? Probably not.
No, he's not.
That's the point. So if you're rolling out your A lineup, he's not in it. So you're looking at Judge and Stan as your only two right-handed hitters.
But we know baseball's not played like that anymore.
Okay, you're just going to be argumentative to be argumentative.
I'm not going to be argumentative because I heard a lot of things. Well, why wasn't Jazz in the wild card game? Go look at Jazz against Crochet. I mean, would I have not sit him for Jose Caballero? Probably not. But I did like that Ahmed Rosario. Ahmed had to be in that lineup because he had
the Yankees are not too left-handed?
No, they are, but I'm saying.
So that's my point. That's my point, though. They are too left.
You're shitting on Ahmed Rosario. I'm trying to clear his
name. No, I like Ahmed Rosario. Go look on on my social media pages and what I made
All right, go
videos
look on
about.
TikTok later about you.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Can't believe you're on TikTok.
I'm blowing up right now. People are not happy with me.
Oh man, smack that
You
like, hit that sub.
you would not think that saying Rocky 5 is a bad movie would be controversial.
You said Rocky 5 is a bad movie?
It don't even get me started.
You need to invite me on that show and we'll talk about it.
Okay. Anyway, so to get away from some of this left-handedness, to swap, basically in my mind, swapping Bo with Jazz was something I wanted to do. Not to mention that Jazz Chisholm could bring in a player that could really help this team win this year. And Jazz Chisholm's in a walk year. You handing out a 9-figure contract to Jazz Chisholm next year?
Nah, they're hanging that. They're giving that to Nico Horner.
So why not try to trade Jazz Chisholm in his walk year? But they're not doing that. Okay, they're not doing that. That ship has sailed. Obviously, we don't need to go down that road anymore. But then I read this quote from Jazz Chisholm
Uh-oh.
the other day that said, "I can make all the money I want to," and I might be paraphrasing a little bit here. I can make all the money I want to, but if I don't have an MVP, what does it really mean? And I'm like, guy, the quote should be, if I don't have the ring, what does it all mean? Because another one of my problems with Jazz Chisholm is I feel like he's chasing stats more than he's chasing wins at times. He came back from the injury last year and he talked about the whole 70% thing, and I fell in love with it because one of my big things about Jazz Chisholm was like, this guy's got to chill out and not swing for the fences all the time. He doesn't need to be a home run hitter. Jazz Chisholm, to me, is at his when he's getting on base and wreaking havoc on the base pass. How did the Yankees win that wild card game against the Red Sox? Jazz Chisholm was on first base. Austin Wells hits a single. That son of a bitch scored from first base. He's the only guy in the team that can do something like that. He doesn't need to be chasing home run numbers. But in the biggest moment, in the biggest moments, what is Jazz Chisholm doing? And yeah, it kind of gets lost in Judge's home run against Toronto, but he had a big home run right after Judge. So then people are like, well, I don't want him chasing home runs. Jazz Chisholm is talented enough with that short porch. He could fart 20 home runs out of that ballpark. He doesn't need to have that power swing all the time. You look at Cody Bellinger, right? What bothered me about Cody Bellinger late in the season into the postseason is because he was chasing power. But for the majority of the season, Cody Bellinger selected one pitch in the at bat to try to hit a home run on, and then he had an approach to make contact and get on base, especially with 2 strikes the rest of the way. And he's a good athlete, but he's not near the athletic presence that Jazz Chisholm is. If Jazz Chisholm had that approach, this guy could be a fucking animal out there, an absolute game wrecker. And that's what I want out of him. And then today, there's that quote that drops about forget 40-40. I want to be 50-50. And then I think it was Kirshner that interviewed him and said that, well, only one guy that did it, and it was Ohtani. And he said, well, I guess there's going to be 2. And I'm like, what are we talking about here?
That lets you know where his. Listen, I'm never gonna go against a player being themselves, but like we all say here, you talk the talk, you walk the walk. You got to back it up. The reason Mayweather was able to talk that much because he backed it up. But Muhammad Ali, all those guys backed it up when they talked. Jazz is gonna have to back it up because now he continues to talk a lot. And sometimes I agree with you wholeheartedly. You should never say that all the money in the world doesn't matter if you don't have an MVP. It should be if you don't have a championship ring. The reason you play the game is to win. You don't play the game to be the best. I mean, to be the best player stat wise on your team or on your division or on the league. You play the game to win. And is he going to change that mindset this year? Only time will tell. I doubt it. I think that him being in a walk year,
He's chasing that.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
gonna chase that.
Absolutely. I think he's going to chase home run. I think he will have a 40-40 season. I don't know.
Is that the best version of Jazz Chisholm? If he bats 220?
That's
Is
not gonna
that
help. I don't know if that's gonna help the Yankees tremendously in the playoffs when they're facing elite pitching, and that's what the nerds don't understand. I don't hate the analytics, and I don't. It's obvious that the team that hits more home runs ends up winning the most ball games. The issue is when you're going to the playoffs, you are facing the best of the best, elite pitching, elite bullpen, and it's a lot harder to hit home runs. Having guys that are able to draw walks, fight off pitches, and where the starting pitcher out are important. And this is why Cody Bellinger, who you're talking about, drove me nuts last year because out of nowhere he started swinging at the first fucking pitch every fucking time. And I'm like, where's this going? Cody Bellinger had a two-strike approach. Why are you sitting there? Like, where did this come from? So for Jazz and his comments, I think that now him being in a walk year, what he's saying now, bro. Listen. I'm not gonna knock him for saying it because at the end of the day, I don't take it away. But you're gonna have to back it up now. And if you don't back it up, get ready because one, people talk about Jazz before he was a Yankee. Now that he's a Yankee, people shit on him even more. So, but he is the second best second baseman in the league. You can argue with a wall about that.
right? But I mean, you can say he's the second best second baseman in the league, but is he playing to his potential? Is he playing to a level that can help the Yankees win a world championship? Because just like what we were talking about with running back 26, if it doesn't get the Yankees into the World Series and winning a World Series, it's irrelevant to talk about. It means nothing to me. We're going on year 17 of not winning a championship. And I'm hearing a guy talking about how he's more worried about hitting 50 home runs and being an MVP than he is helping the team win ball games. Now, look at how Aaron Judge talks, and it's always about the team, it's always about winning. And you listen to Jazz Chisholm talk, and it's about him. Now, I know, bro, you can be the biggest me guy in the world, and that's fine. But when we haven't won in this long, and this guy has shown a certain level of selfishness on the field, it makes me worry when he knows this is his chance to get the bag.
See, I'm looking at his numbers now, and when he got traded, he was when he got traded, he hit 273 with a 325 on base and an 825 OPS. That was a 131 OPS plus. Last year he hit 242 with a 332 on base and 813 OPS. What we're basically telling you is um and obviously he didn't play the amount of games in the second half. But we want a Jazz. If he's gonna hit 40 home runs, I don't want Jazz to hit 220. We're basically telling you if Jazz is gonna hit 30, 40 home runs, could he hit 255, 260 instead of 230, 240? That's what we're asking. 260, a 260 Jazz hitting 30 home runs is where you want Jazz to be with 40
I
stolen
want
bases.
he has a career 316 on base. It was 330 something last year. If he added 20, just give me 20 points on the on base. Get on base 35% of the time. Be a devil out there, man. The Yankees have got, if Stan's healthy with Judge and Bellinger, and you figure that, if Grisham is really only, you're banking on him being a guy that's going to have power, and you're expecting Ben Rice to take the next step. I fully expect Ben Rice is healthy to be a 35 home run guy this year. You can call me crazy. I think he's going to take that type of leap this year and be one of the better power hitters in baseball in 2026. You have guys that can hit home runs, and you hope Ryan McMahon becomes a guy that learns how to find the porch out there. I don't need it from Jazz because he has a different skill set than all these other guys. Give me something that can change a game. We don't need a ninth guy out there jerking the ball trying to hit a home run. I need a guy out there to create havoc on the base paths. Use speed and athleticism to score runs and win games. We don't have a guy like that except for Jazz Chisholm. When he's talking about hitting 50 home runs, that scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah, man. It's not the quotes that you want from a Yankee. Any other guy playing any other team, I still think it's selfish to say that talk about MVP when you should be talking about winning. And this is why Giancarlo Stanton to me will always get a pass for me because what was his quote? I don't.
The
The
point
reason you be
basically the point of being a Yankee is to win a championship.
exactly, and some people made fun of him about it, whatever the case may be. To me, last postseason was the worst postseason he's ever showed up in. Besides that, he's always showed up in the postseason.
That is why
And
I will fight anybody to the death on defending John Carlos Stanton, because he has the mentality you want the other 25 guys in that locker room to have at all times. It's always about trying to win. It's about bro, he was the one that said it last year when they got the American League championship rings. He said, I don't want to see any use wearing that. When they gave him the American League MVP trophy for the ALCS MVP trophy, he said, I don't want this. This is not what we're out here trying to accomplish.
correct. And people were making fun of him for it. And I was like, obviously, it was a lot of people from other fan bases. But what people need to understand, and I think Christian, you now with social media and stuff like that, we start to see the younger fan base didn't get to see what we saw, so they're okay with what the Yankees are right now. But we're telling you, the Yankees were much better before. The Yankees were about winning. The Yankees brought fear into clubhouses when they walked in. Those Yankees don't exist. We went from that to being the team that people celebrate in the Bronx in. And I'm not okay with that. And I never understand, even as a competitor, how are you okay with shit like that? How are you okay with people going out there talking in different 50 podcasts talking about you guys suck? You guys can't play defense. You guys have and listen, I'm not saying go back and forth in the media. What I'm saying is show it on the fucking field. Show me some fire. The Yankees don't, they're okay with running it back. They're okay with just getting in. They don't understand what your diehard fan base is telling you, that the times have changed, and you guys want to charge Yankee prices. You guys want to sell the Yankee lore. You want to sell the ghosts of the Monument Park. You want to sell all that shit, but then you don't want to pony up and do what brought the Yankees, the late Yankees of the 90s and the 2009 team, is just, fuck it, I'm going to go out and get everybody out. Now, I understand you can't compete with the Dodgers, but if you're gonna go back, run it back, at least add a little something to it. Imagine running it back and saying we're running it back, but we have Bo Bichette too. And now I don't want to go back to that, but if you can trade for somebody else, then do it. This is why we want it. Even Nico Horner brings a different dynamic to the team, and this is all we're telling you. It's like the team that you brought last year. You're trying to sell us that they're gonna do better in the playoffs. They didn't look as good, so. Again, we're gonna be having these conversations in October, and I'm not the Yankee fan who wants them to lose for me to be right. Fuck that. Prove me wrong. But this team just didn't look great when the moment was needed. And if you're counting your team to go, your starting rotation to go out there and give you 6, 7, 0 earned runs, and then your offense is not going to show up, what's the fucking point?
I said this on a recent episode of NYYST. I said that one person's going to be right. It's Brian Cashman or it's me, basically, is what I said. I don't think that run it back 26 is good enough to win a championship. He does. So at the end of the season, who do I want to be right? I want the bald-headed weasel to be right, because I want the Yankees to win a world championship. I want them to win more than I want to be right. So if they win, and that means I'm wrong, I'm happy. I don't get any pleasure about being.
People think we're going to be upset if they win. They prove us wrong. That's what people actually think.
I take no pleasure in being right about the Yankees not winning a World Series, about all the flaws that I pointed out over the years, and they haven't won. I've never went to bed after they got eliminated and looked at the ceiling and like, dude, I'm fucking smart, dude. I'm happy. I'm good. No, I'm pissed. We put all this time and energy into this team, especially that we're doing shows about them, and all the content that we create, and all this stuff, and all the energy and everything we put into this, for it to end the way that it's ended for the last 10 years. No, that's why, like, the dream scenario, bro, like the NYYST, I'm done doing that show at the end of the season. That show is over and done with, and we're going to focus in 100% on everything that's happening here at the end of the season, right? The dream scenario is that the last words I ever get to say on that show are the Yankees are world champions. And I talked about this that in 2024, I knew Chris was going to get ready to step away, that it was trending that way. He was going to get to step away. And we went to the World Series that year. And I said, if they can just fucking do this, this is the perfect time to put a bow on this thing and say goodbye. But they didn't. They got so goddamn close, and I just couldn't walk away at that point. I just couldn't, that we were so close. But now we got to a point where, whatever it is, it is, okay? It to me, it just has to end that way. And it doesn't look like it's going to be that way. And we're just going to go into another year talking about why this team didn't win.
And to everything you just said, I want to add is it's not like at least me, it's not that I dislike this team. It's that if something didn't work the first time, why, like, it's just common sense that if something didn't work the first time, you would try something different. And the trade deadline will be big for the Yankees, depending on where teams are and where they are. Not adding the big right-handed bat or decent right-handed bat that you need on this team might be the nail in the coffin for the New York Yankees. The Boston Red Sox went in, they already have one of the best left-handed pitchers in baseball, Gerrit Cole. They went and added another playoff beast. Ranger Suarez is no joke, especially in October. Go look at his numbers. So you think Boston is not like, all right, these guys are gonna roll out 8 lefties? All right, let's get another lefty. You think they don't think that way? They're playing their division, and this is the thing. Sometimes I feel like other teams are playing chess, and these motherfuckers are here sitting here playing checkers. Like, oh, we're gonna run it back, and other teams are like, no, we're gonna get better than what we were. And the Yankees, oh, we're good. We like what we have. You have the best hitter in baseball. I don't care what Fox says. You could go fuck yourself, Fox, with a capital F. You have the best hitter in baseball in Aaron Judge. And the year that you give him a legit superstar in Juan Soto, they make it to the World Series, and you didn't learn from that. I don't know, man. I don't know what else you need to understand that in October you fucking need people who wear their heart on their sleeve and they play baseball at best when they're pressured. There's only a handful of guys in the majors that do that, and you have chances to bring them. Listen, I don't know. I'm gonna ask you this, Christian. I don't know if you saw what Bryce Harper was talking about in the last podcast. I don't think he's happy there, bro.
Yeah, but he's left-handed.
No, exactly. That's the issue. Bryce Harper is one of those guys. But again, the Yankees never had a conversation. You know what's funny? And I don't care. Let me know if you agree with me, Christian. The best move that Brian Cashman made was jokingly when he asked A-Rod, would you play third base? And A-Rod said yes.
In his career?
I think so. I think that is his best move.
I'd have to actually sit down and do a deep dive on it. I would definitely put it it has to be near the top of the list.
Correct. So it's like, get creative, bro. This guy has stopped being that. I feel like he's so fucking whatever you want to call it, squared, and I'm tunnel vision. And I made this move, and it has to work. It has to fucking work, because if it doesn't work, I think it's pride. That's why I hate about Cashman. I think he's so prideful that he's not okay with just nipping shit in the bud and being like, all right, this is a failed experiment. Let's move on from this.
I am so glad you used the words failed experiment, because I was trying to move off that and into something else here. And yes, Mr. Anthony Volpe, who has begun his rehab here after shoulder surgery, taking dry swings as he begins his way back here. Something that we need to talk about here that I haven't had the chance to talk about in long form, because it kind of broke after I was done recording NYYFC this past week, was that we got a super chat from Eddie Go. Cash needs an ayahuasca retreat for creativity. I don't know if there's enough ayahuasca in the universe for him. Thank you for the super chat, Eddie. That I went on social media, like I was scrolling on X, and I'm like, why is everybody talking about Anthony Volpe starting the season in the minor leagues? I'm like, don't people know what rehab assignments are? And then I started fucking around and I found out that Joel Sherman speculated that the Yankees could, in fact, after Volpe's done with his rehab, start him in AAA. And I'm saying to myself, there's no fucking possible way the Yankees are putting a healthy Anthony Volpe in Scranton to start his season. And then, well, if he spends 20 days down there, they get an extra year. I don't give a fuck if they had a lifetime contract on him. If he spent 10 minutes in Scranton, I can't see them doing it. You mean to tell me that they bent over backwards and started, arguments with the media over him and that he's healthy and he's just going to sit a couple weeks in Scranton?
If you're telling me besides his rehab starts, which are probably anywhere from 4 to 6, right? We can say 4 to 6 starts.
Well, they're saying it's going to be about a month before he's ready to come
I mean,
off the IL.
I heard that it was a pretty big surgery. I mean, I don't know much about it. I mean, I know we have a couple of doctors in our spaces, but if it's beside his rehab time, I'm gonna be surprised as well. That's the Wonder Boy. That's the guy that they pinch hit Jasson Dominguez for, so he doesn't get booed out of his shoes in his last at bat at Yankee Stadium in the playoffs last year. I'm gonna be very, very surprised if they keep him down there extra than what he is now. If Jose Caballero is raking and he is clearly playing out of his shoes, and again, raking for Jose Caballero doesn't have to be an 800 OPS, Christian. It just has to be a 720, 725. 700 would be raking compared to what Volpe's giving you. So,
well, the kid's never cracked 690 in his career.
correct. So again, it's not a big bar for Jose, but if he's doing that, how can the Yankees back up we're gonna go ahead and put him back at shortstop position? I mean, I don't know. So I mean, if I had to put money on, I'm with you. I don't think the Yankees are going to do that. Joe Sherman speculating. I think at this time in baseball, it's always rumors and rumblings and shit that you hear back and forth. But we've seen this team do a lot of things throughout the years, and when they love a prospect or they love a player, they'll play him to no end. So we saw it with Verdugo, we saw it with DJ LeMahieu, we saw it with Josh Donaldson, we saw it with Aaron Hicks. The list goes on and on and on.
Well, those are
and
all
on.
paid. Those are all highly paid veterans that you just listed.
Yes, one.
Well,
Not
Verdugo
Verdugo,
really wasn't,
but you would say that Volpe would fall in the loved category when it comes to the Yankee front office.
I mean, come on, bro. We've been over this time and time again about what the Yankees think about.
He's
Anthony
in the
Volpe.
poster, bro.
Yeah, he's in the poster.
You got Cody Bellinger, you got Gerrit Cole, you got Cap Slater throwing 100. Anthony Volpe's on the poster.
People got mad at me when I pointed that out, and I'm like, this is why and I said that the reason why I posted this and to show everybody is this is what the Yankees are marketing to you. They are come to the Bronx to watch these guys play, and not even the best player in the fucking world was front and center of that poster. He was off on the side. Anthony Volpe was in the front and center of that. So you mean to tell me they went from that to a healthy Anthony Volpe is going to be playing in Scranton, Pennsylvania next year? I don't. This coming season, I should say. I don't see it. I don't see it happening.
And we in this day and age, they'll clip shit that we're saying, and they'll be like, "Here are these guys shitting on Anthony Volpe again." What I know from Anthony Volpe is he is a tremendous hard worker.
I'm not rooting against him.
Correct, and that's what we're trying to say. He's a tremendous hard worker. We know, obviously, he doesn't want to do bad. I saw in an interview, I remember that he says he keeps receipts. I mean, he pays attention. So I do like that he's trying to. Yeah, so, yeah, we know that. So it's not that it's somebody put it in X as well. I saw it. I think it's like the Yankees cause their fans to get fatigued by players because they shove them down people's faces. And Anthony Volpe has ended up being one of those. It's not that we hate Anthony Volpe. It's that the Yankees can't figure out and be like, maybe this guy shouldn't be the shortstop of the New York Yankees. I mean, wasn't it to say that Anthony Volpe could be possibly one of the best second basemen if he wasn't playing shortstop? He doesn't have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know that because the Yankees will drill that he is a shortstop Again, he's going to come back this year and he's going to play shortstop. Um, and that's the whole
He's been
thing.
cheeks offensively though. That's the problem.
Cheeks offensively, and then he's been cheeks every year since he won the Gold Glove. He's gotten worse defensively every year when you look at it. So people
Right.
disguising that it's his shoulder, brother. I
Well,
mean,
the Volpe defenders will point out how much better he was in the second half of the season defensively last year. You know what changed the second half of the season last year? Ryan McMahon was the third baseman. You don't think that cuts down on the amount of balls that Anthony Volpe has to go get?
correct, and has to try and throw somebody out on, which he really has trouble with.
T.
So again,
Rivera with the super chat here. He goes, "Is that why Martian is also starting the year in AAA so he can protect Volpe? I mean, like in the lineup in Scranton's lineup. I don't.
maybe
That's another thing we'll talk about here in a second. But after we finish up this conversation about Anthony Volpe, this has to this has to be it for him. If he does not show market improvement with the bat this year, they have to move on in 2027. They cannot run this kid back out there again. If he cannot, and where do you want to set the bar? Where do you feel comfortable making him the starting shortstop in 2027? 725? Does it have to be higher than that? Now, 725 would mark a 30%, 30-point improvement over his best season offensively. Is 750? Do you want to even go that high? I need to see somebody that is a reliable everyday major league hitter this year. And you're asking him to do that coming off a major shoulder surgery? I don't know if it's possible.
and that's going to be the excuse they're going to use, that he came back from injury and it was a really rough season for him from the get. Before that, it was his maiden voyage sea legs. He didn't have the sea legs he didn't have under him.
It
It's
was
just
worse the following year.
it's just excuses after excuse. And I'm going to go ahead and say this because we're from Jersey. If you know the travel ball circuit, when Volpe was in high school, Volpe was a dog. Bro, Volpe was like a legend in New
If
Jersey.
you're from Jersey like we are, bro, there's nobody you're rooting harder for than a kid from
Then
New
Anthony
Jersey.
Volpe. And I'm gonna say this. I wish that this guy comes out of nowhere and has a fucking 750 OPS season. I would be so happy for this kid because it's not that we hate Anthony Volpe. We don't hate him. We don't. It's that the Yankees continue to put guys where it's not functioning, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. The fact that they sat there and Aaron Boone told Meredith Morakayev that he's fucking elite when he was having his worst season defensively tells you by far how fucking out of the bubble this front office is when it comes to their fans and from the media and from anybody. They think they're so smarter than everybody. It drives people nuts. And another thing that I'll say to end this, my point is, the Yankees passed up on Corey Seager, Trey Turner, Marcus Semien. They passed up on so many shortstops because we had Anthony Volpe, and nobody put that pressure on him but the New York Yankees. That is not our fault as a fan. That is not the media's fault. That is your scouting department, and that is you as a front office that painted that this kid was going to be the next coming of one of the greatest shortstops that we've had coming from the East Coast ever. So, again, they love to point the finger at the fans, but when are you going to point the fucking finger at yourself?
They did this to him. We didn't do this to him. They did this to him. When you sit out of that shortstop class and then you make us endure IKF
Oh, my God.
for Anthony Volpe, and then you constantly push him as one of the cornerstones, one of the pillars of the organization, and then he regresses every single year that he's out there.
Absolutely.
And you continue to tell people that what they're watching is wrong. That's why he gets the reaction that he gets. It's more so that the Yankee fans are booing excuse me, let me say this correctly. When Anthony Volpe gets booed, it's more so that the Yankee fans are booing the Yankee front office and Aaron Boone in the way that they have talked about and handled Anthony Volpe more so than they are actually booing Anthony Volpe, the player. Sure, his performance on the field deserves boos at times, but the fan base has lashed out at him because of the way the organization has coddled him. And the fact that we could have an all-star type superstar at Corey Seager playing shortstop, that maybe we would have never had to endure the whole Juan Soto bullshit because we would have had Corey Seager. Maybe the Yankees would have never felt they needed a guy like Juan Soto.
And maybe Volpe would have played second base and been an all-star second baseman because he had no pressure.
And they say if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle. So I mean, what are we talking about here? But I mean, just look at everything the Yankees have done to lead to this happening. And you mean to tell me, to bring this all home, you mean to tell me they're going to sit a healthy Anthony Volpe in Scranton for 3 weeks?
I'm not putting money on it.
When they fucked with everybody's service time and they did not give a shit about any of that with Anthony Volpe because they wanted him out there on day one to be the face of this franchise with Aaron Judge. And now all of a sudden, because they have an excuse to do it, they might do it. Or if Caballero's playing well, they might do it to take the pressure off of him. Let me tell you something right now. The monkey that's on his back right now will turn into a fucking elephant if he's down in Scranton for 3 weeks. You will be doing this kid no services whatsoever by sticking him in Scranton for 3 weeks. If he's healthy, put him up there. Let's go. Rip the Band-Aid off, and let's see if this is finally the year that he gets it done. If not, then we got to have another conversation in the offseason here. And George Lombard right now is not the answer for me. He has not hit a double-A. Until he does that, I'm not even discussing whether or not he can be the Yankees' shortstop in 2027.
And I hate to break it to a lot of people, there's not anybody even close to becoming a free agent that the Yankees go ahead and get.
Yeah, and that's why, as Head Honcho is pointing out in the chat here, that they're trying Ryan McMahon at I can't even fucking say it out. I can't even say the sentence without laughing because it's absolutely absurd.
I'm also going to say, I'm going to take the time, talking about McMahon is short. When Caleb Durbin drives you nuts against us,
he's a Red Sox now.
Remember who the fuck was who was talking about Caleb Durbin years ago? There's no reason to play McMahon $15 million to hit the way he is. I get he's he's a defensive guru, but it's like you didn't need that. You had a guy who could stop gap you third base for a while, and it's not a lefty.
Kev had it first. Okay, we know this.
No, you'll see. Fucking Caleb, you're gonna be fucking Caleb Durbin, of course. Watch.
All right, let's. I wasn't gonna bring up Jasson Dominguez, but I wanted to get your opinion on this. What are we doing with Jasson Dominguez here? He's really gonna start the season in AAA because they don't have a role for him up here.
So how true is that? Is that a direct quote? Because I was trying to look to see or not because
Brian Cashman didn't exactly throw cold water on it, and it seemed more like he was leaning. I don't have the quotes in front of me. Maybe somebody in the chat can throw them up there because Cashman was asked about it, and he basically said, "Well, it's we got to see how things go in camp because nothing's out of the realm of possibility." And I'm just like,
what's funny though, right? I did hear him say that Spencer Jones and him were going to fight for it in camp before the Cody Bellinger.
He did say that, and this is something that this is something that I pointed out a couple of times, is that if Cody had signed elsewhere, the Yankees were going to tell you, they were going to try to gaslight you into believing how much that they actually love Jasson Dominguez, when everything that they've done in his history has shown you, in his career has shown you, they don't really like this kid.
Oh, I would concede it's in his best interest to be getting everyday reps. Brian Cashman said of Jasson Dominguez, if they can't offer that in the majors.
But if you found 400 at bats for him last year, why can't you find 400 at bats for him this year?
I think Cashman wants to see if one of the guys that he signed, like who was it? We were talking about Brown. Was it Seth?
Well, we weren't talking about him, but yeah, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, one of those guys that he picked up that he's trying to see.
The dozen guys that hit 138.
Correct. If he's trying to see if one of those guys ends up being anything, which, again, he tried this when he had Jake Bowers, McKinley,
still a free agent,
Willie Calhoun. I'm so sick and tired of Cashman trying to do this shit with that type of stuff. But if you find, to Christian's point, either when if Giancarlo's healthy and everybody's healthy, it is going to be very, very tough to find them at bats. But when you're gonna sit Belly or you're gonna sit Trent Grisham or you're gonna sit Stanton, you're gonna tell me there's another better bat than Jasson Dominguez? If it's one thing that Jasson has that nobody could dispute is that he's an average, slightly above average hitter in the major leagues from the left side.
Right, I
So
would agree with that.
so how you're gonna tell me there's somebody better? Oh, but his defense. How is somebody going to get better if he doesn't play? If you're going to tell me that you want to put him down there because he's going to play every day and work on his defense, then I can't argue with you if everybody is healthy. But if the Yankees are going to play the game where they rest Giancarlo one day because he got 2 doubles and he can't run that much.
Well, the
And
Yankees have said, I think it was Boone that said that the plan this year is they will not play him more than 4 days in a row.
so you figure Bailey gets a day off, Trent Grisham gets a day off, and
That's 3. I mean,
that's 3 days a week.
probably 3 days.
That's
a
not
week.
bad. That's
But
not bad.
again, this is the way you look at it, right? If it's a lefty on the mound, Paul Goldschmidt's getting a DH day, or a day at first. It could be if that just happened to run into a situation that maybe they would use Paul Goldschmidt as the DH, and if he hadn't played in a little bit, just to, that's another thing that I didn't want Paul Gold. It's not Paul Goldschmidt, the player. It's the name Paul Goldschmidt that worries me about the Yankees are going to maybe have a little bit of too much over reliance on him at some point this year instead of the role that he's supposed to be here for.
Supposedly he's Paul is not the type of guy that he's a great teammate. He's a great veteran presence on the team. So supposedly his role is to help out
Ben
Ben
Rice.
Rice. We'll see, but I mean, I don't think.
If Aaron Boone writes his name in the lineup, he's going to be like, no, it's not fair to Ben, or he's going to go out there
absolutely. And not only that, the thing was that he hits lefties very well, but his second half of the season overall was still.
But again, somebody did point out though is that he was playing every day at 38. So maybe if he doesn't play every day, maybe he'd be a little fresher down the stretch here. But back to Dominguez. What's this kid? What's his future here, or is his future not here? Is probably the better question.
I don't think the Yankees are better without him, and that's my whole point. Even though people are like, just trade him, he deserves to be somewhere else. I'm kind of selfish, right? I want to see him have his full year with no attack, with nothing holding him back. Like, again, he's very young. People may think that he's been in the league for 8 years, but he's not. People troll him about it. But he's not, because he's been hyped since he's been 15.
He's only 22 years old.
Correct. And he's
still
again,
3 years younger than friggin' Spencer Jones is.
And Spencer Jones right now, I saw a stat where his contact rate was exactly the same or slightly worse last year than Joey Gallo's. That's very alarming if you're a Spencer Jones fan. So you're gonna go ahead and trade Jasson, who at least is an above average hitter, who I think is going to be better than than average. But right now, he's an average hitter. You're going to go ahead and you're just going to bank it all on Spencer Jones. We don't have anybody else right now in the minors besides that. So I'm sorry. I don't think the Yankees could afford to move away from Jasson Dominguez unless they freaking keep Trent Grisham for the rest of eternity. Which
let's get to Rod's super chat. Rod, thank you, my brother. He goes, Christian, I'm with you. I love Stan, but I don't think he's going to play more than 80 games, which leaves a lane for the Martian. Which, yeah, I mean, I hate saying it, but you can probably bank on Giancarlo Stanton missing somewhere between 60, at least 40 games this year. At least 40.
Hit the scoreboard today.
And the guy's the guy's a beast, man. Any Yankee fan has a negative thing to say about Giancarlo Stanton is they're brain damaged, okay? I mean, the problem with G is that he's never really stayed healthy in his career here, and it's been frustrating at times because we know what a fucking beast that he can be, especially in October.
And I think that the Yankees can afford to be smart with him for once. We do have a couple of guys that you can put in, and Martian is one of them. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I don't see anybody else picking up that slack. What you're gonna sell me that Duke Ellis is gonna be the fourth outfielder of this team?
Is he even on the?
He is. He's an invite. He's there.
Oh man, fucking Dukelos. Anyway,
Oh man, gotta love it.
let me ask you this question. Let me pose this question to you. Do you think that Dominguez's Tommy John surgery will ultimately become the equivalent of Miguel Andujar's shoulder surgery, where you notice that if he didn't get hurt, what does his career look like? Both of those guys. If you look at Miguel Andujar, I know there were flaws in the defensive game and yada yada. But if he doesn't get hurt in 2019 and he puts up another representative, and look, he's been healthy the past couple of years, and he's been a guy that's proven to be a good hitter, especially against left-handed pitching. He just doesn't have a position. But if he would have raked anywhere close to how he did in 2018, you find a place for the guy to play and you get him a caddy. But he got hurt, and the Yankees basically forgot about him. Now, Jasson Dominguez had Tommy John surgery. What happens to Jasson Dominguez's career if he doesn't have Tommy John surgery, especially the way he busted on the scene in 2023?
I still think that Jason is there, bro. I'm not giving
I
up on
mean,
it.
do you not draw the parallels there?
No, I understand what you're saying. I mean, absolutely. I mean, but I think the defense would have still reared his ugly head because the one thing that I will say, and if you do play baseball, I mean, or if you watch a lot of baseball, you can tell that he takes funky routes. He does have issues reading the baseball.
Dominguez.
Yeah, correct. And
Yeah.
and that's stuff that gets fixed with time. So I mean, and he has the athleticism to catch up for his mistakes. So do I think he can be below average defensively? I do. But if the kid is hitting when he's 20, 26, 27, if he's hitting 25, 30 home runs and stealing you 30 bases and has an 850 OPS, do you really give a shit that he's like a bad outfielder?
No, I told you,
That's what I'm saying.
you get him a caddy.
I don't play golf.
You
Need
don't know what
somebody to come in and play defense in the late innings.
so you figured it out.
Yeah. We kind of
You
saw that last year and it worked.
Yeah. I got to figure out why this camera zooms in and out every time.
What the
I
fuck
talk
was
to you.
that? I thought that was Pete. I was about to say, Pete, what are you doing?
No, I updated my computer like 2 months ago, and ever since I did that, the camera does that shit.
Oh man, you know I'm gonna cut that. I'm gonna make a funny video out of that. Thank you for telling me. What do you think though? Do you think where do you see Jason? Honestly, I want to hear your take on Jason because I
He'll
love
be on
Jason.
the side of the road next to Clint Frazier in 2 years is where he's
I,
going to be.
I don't think he's that bad as Clint Frazier. He's a much better hitter than Clint Frazier.
No, but that's the rowdy. That's the trajectory he's on right now.
Would you say that he has been given an unfair shot though? Like he hasn't
I think the
been given
Yankees
the
have
shot.
completely mishandled him.
Thank you. I agree as well.
I mean, if we just talked about Anthony Volpe 10 minutes ago, I mean, look at one and look at the other. Who's been given unlimited leash, and in the minute that Jasson Dominguez stubs his toe, he's on the bench for 3 weeks. I know I'm exaggerating, but
somebody said that I think it was on WFN. Jasson Dominguez had 18 multi-hit games, and he was benched 8 times out of the 18 games the next day. The 18 games he did that.
yeah,
He
I
was benched
heard
8
that.
times, and only twice there was a lefty on the mound. So they were benching him no matter what.
Yeah, because Boone was being challenged on that. Boone was on one of the shows. He was being interviewed. He was challenged on that.
I mean, do you want the kid to get hot? I mean, that week where he let off in the Subway Series, look at how he hit. I mean, you put this kid in front of Aaron Judge. I mean, I don't know why the Yankees are lost when it comes to this shit. That kid's a beast. He's another guy that gives you the athleticism that Jazz does.
Honestly, I would have rolled him out there as a leadoff hitter, and I would have probably went him, Judge, Bellinger, or maybe
Giancarlo. Well,
you would probably want to go
Ben?
to throw a righty to go throw a righty in there. So maybe if Stan's healthy, he bats cleanup, and then Rice is your 5-hole hitter. I don't get this idea. I'm not in love with Trent Grisham as a leadoff hitter. We know that's the way that they're gonna go, but. Let's wrap up the show here. We'll talk about a little bit of Aaron Judge. What did you think about his comments earlier in the week?
So it's refreshing to hear him speak or feel the way that we felt as fans. We're like, fuck, we're the fucking Yankees, and everybody's trolling. No, you're not. I don't give a shit what anybody says, bro. When people come over, look at Weathers, look at the guys that come over and they put this unit. They talk about, oh my god, I'm a Yankee. I don't. There is still something there because you just can't erase 100 years of history. You can't. So, um, but it's refreshing to see Judge kind of stick up for us who were frustrated and be like, "Yo, what the fuck is taking so long, bro? Like, this is where we're at now. That we're sitting. Like, if we have the best team in baseball, we have. You know what I'm saying? There are other now. There's a legit areas where you can say, listen, the vibe. Don't get me wrong. Everybody talks about the Dodgers, but the vibes are that's a good vibe, bro. That's a good city. I fucking hate the traffic. That's just me, but the city, the vibe of that team, they win all the fucking time. They don't give a shit about money. Then you got New York. Everybody talks about, oh yeah, New York is a great city, but you got another guy on the other side of town who's willing to pay sometimes more, and they have their other thing going. The Mets are no slouch anymore, so there are more places to go now. The Yankees are gonna have to pony up. They can't just be like, we're the Yankees. This is our offer. We're the Yankees, bro. It's like the
Well, you
Jersey
can't.
Shore. We're the
You
Cavs are here.
can't be
No,
who you can't be like, oh, we're here. You can't drop your balls on the table and be like, we're the Yankees when you haven't won in 17
not
years.
anymore. Correct. That I agree with a lot of people saying. So for him to say that and be like, yeah, I was sitting there, I was getting a little frustrated, but then he, and again, I don't expect him not to toe the company line, but he went back and we got the guys that we wanted, and Bellinger is back.
Right. And I think
Blah blah
people,
blah.
to me, the more important thing was him expressing his frustration. That was the more important thing. This guy is the captain in the face of the New York Yankees. He's never going to openly dump on what the team is doing. He's there to put a brave face on it to make it all seem right. That's why he's the captain. That's why he's the best player. He's not only the face of the Yankees, he's the face of Major League Baseball. I don't give a fuck about Shohei Ohtani, bro. Aaron Judge is the face of Major League Baseball, okay?
Yeah, nobody cares about Shohei. Only
Nobody cares about him.
fucking Japan. Everybody, California and Japan. That's who you
That's
have.
all anybody. That's where they
Yeah,
care about him. Everybody cares about Aaron Judge anyway. So Aaron Judge is never going to come out after. He's going to express his frustration, which was very refreshing to hear. But yeah, he's going to say, "Yeah, I like running back 26. We got Belly back. We got Grisham back. We got Goldie back. So I feel I feel good about where we are because he's not going to come out here and say the team fucking blows. We all know that. We all know he's going to come out there and try to make things seem that this is the right way to go. That he's not going to, take a shit on Hal Steinbrenner's face. But he is frustrated, man. He has to be because look at it. He signed that big contract in 2022. I know how Steinbrenner made promises to him, and what happened? They went out there and they got Carlos Rodon. They threw a bunch of money at Carlos Rodon to. We all have our feelings about Carlos Rodon, but that was a big money signing. I think everybody was pretty much feeling good about that one. And then you go into 2024, and what do the Yankees do? They get fucking Juan Soto. They get Juan Soto. So, yeah, the Yankees are backing up some of that talk. You always feel like the Yankees are one piece away, but they were still backing up their talk of what they were going to do for Aaron Judge. And then last year, yeah, whatever. We don't have to go down there, but they pivoted, man. They went out there. They got Max Fried. They got a legitimate ace out there. They gave him the most money ever for a left-handed pitcher. They got one of the better options that you could have had out there to go replace Soto in right field and Cody Bellinger. They were making moves. And then this year, it's like, what are we fucking doing? What are we doing to get better? What's the plan B? If Cody Bellinger had went to the Mets or the Dodgers or anywhere else, what was the option? You were going to tell us how much you love somebody that you clearly don't? Austin Slater would have gotten a bigger guarantee from you. He would have been the right fielder. Ahmed Rosario? What are we talking about? Or the left fielder? Ahmed Rosario and Dominguez in a platoon? So yeah, I get his frustration. He has every right to speak. We're the Yankees. What are we doing? That he mentioned other teams are going out there and getting better, making trades, signing players, and we're sitting here doing nothing. That doesn't mean that now that's just erased because the guys are back. It was a legitimate feeling from him that he knows. Come on, bro. You mean to tell me he doesn't know what the offseason plan was all along? Get Bellinger and run it back? That to me, and maybe I want to think this way, and you can tell me that I'm wrong. To me, he doesn't think this is good enough. That he saw what this was last year, and that this isn't good enough to run it back in 2026. This guy's going to be 34 years old this year. When does he stop being Superman? Does he see the sands in the hourglass dwindling away here? That he knows that Father Time is going to catch up with him at some point here, and in the very near future, that he's not going to be the best right-handed hitter a lot of us have ever seen play Major League Baseball. That he's not going to be the best hitter in Major League Baseball. That he's going to become mortal at some point soon. And that's why he expressed his frustration in the way the Yankees have handled this offseason. They are Aaron Judge taking a step back from being a worse team than they were last year. He has to hit 50 home runs. He has to bat 330. He has to be the MVP for the Yankees to even have the thought that they could be as good as they were last year. Kev, if he hits 40 home runs and bats 311, where are they making up that difference?
Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like you're banking on Trent Grisham, who had a career year, and you're saying that the underlying metrics, they love to throw those words, but there's a lot of players that have had underlying metrics who've been able to bounce back and have horrible seasons the year after that. I'm not banking on Trent Grisham to have a horrible backup season, but if Trent Grisham goes out there and he gives you 20 to 25 home runs, I hate to tell you, that's not good enough. Why? Because last year he hit 31 home runs and he only had 9 doubles.
Hit 34,
what was it? 34 home runs, yeah. And he only hit 9 doubles.
If you lose 10 home runs off of Trent Grisham, they have to come from somebody else.
Imagine losing 10 home runs off Trent Grisham and 10 home runs off Judge.
Yeah, that's a lot of runs right there.
That's a whole player, basically. And you're banking on and listen, and this is why I'm saying, like, you have a cheat code. It's like you're playing Texas Hold'em. You have pocket aces, and you're not fucking going all in when you have Gerrit Cole. I mean, when you have Aaron Judge on your offense. Like, no shit that one of the best, or they're always the best offense in baseball. They have the best hitter in baseball. Like, what are we doing over here? Like, that has something to do with it. So I'm not knocking what the numbers are, but you got to be a little bit realistic. Aaron Judge is a big piece of this offense.
He is the offense.
And as much as you want to say, well, if he loses some time, let's say he loses a month, but people are going to say, oh, but you do that with every team. Not every team. You can't say that anymore. Ohtani can miss time with the Dodgers. Freeman can miss time. He did with the Dodgers. Mookie can miss time. Not all three at the same time, but one of those guys could go down.
Mookie Betts was out a lot last year and was a shell of himself, and they won the World Series.
Look at the Toronto Blue Jays. They added Santander. He didn't even play, and look where they were. Again, if the Yankees lose one of their big guys like Judge, Cody, or even Jazz, those 3 guys, that's a lot of offense for 1 month. I'm not saying the whole season, okay, guys. I'm just saying. So again, the Yankees having Judge and maybe next year they do. Next year's a lockout year. That's not going to happen. This is why I think they did something to who's the I think, is it Cody Bellinger that has to opt out after the second year?
After year 2, but it gets pushed back if there's a lockout.
If there's a lockout, correct? Because they didn't want to be with missing 2 outfield spots after a lockout rushing into the season. This is why the Yankees did that. If anybody hasn't looked, the next free agent year is not great. It's Tarek Skubal and Nico Horner and Jazz Chisholm. Those are the top three agents. So what we're trying to tell you is if the Yankees are looking for free agency to plug in these holes next year, it's not a great free agent class. So why not? The Yankees had a chance where the AL was weak for about 2 years, Christian, and they didn't take advantage. They took advantage of it in 2024. We can't take them away from that. But then again, you came back in 2025. You pivoted the best, and you saw now you have to deal with the fucking Boston is not going anywhere. They're young. They're not going anywhere. Toronto, we're gonna see what Detroit's gonna be. Cleveland's always in there. Seattle's no slouch. Again, you're talking
about regression. There's going to be regression on that team, especially
which one?
Cal Raleigh.
Seattle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just said they're no slouch, but I'm talking about Boston is in our division. Boston and Toronto are clearly better. The Yankees had when we had Soto, that division was bad. So
Whoever survives the American League East is probably going to the World Series, in my opinion.
yeah, and again, when you look at the teams in the AL, does anybody match up with the Dodgers? Not even close.
Get me. Can you get me there though?
Well, you sound like Brian Cashman now.
Well, can you get me to the World Series? I mean, I'll take my chances against the Dodgers. I'd rather take the chances against the Dodgers than lose to the friggin' Blue Jays in
Be honest. Be
the
honest.
division series
It
again.
felt really good to be back in the World Series.
Yeah, it did.
And as the fans that we were, we couldn't savor it because we were like, we want to win it all. It's not okay just for us to get there, but man, it was a long time for the Yankees to show up in the World Series, and it was nice to have that. And I
A
don't want to
lot
go
of
back
things
there.
have changed since 2009. That's why last year or 2 years ago now, even though they lost, I usually don't look at seasons where my team has lost as something that I always remember. But a lot has changed since 2009. That's why that run was so special for the Yankees. And I don't care. People always bring up they got a lucky draw. I don't give a fuck. They could lose to anybody at any time. They got there. It's all that matters. You don't
You
give
play
back.
who's in front of you. They don't have
You
what the
don't get
fuck.
back. That's all I heard from people that don't like the Patriots. Is they're the easiest schedule. They didn't play. Okay, but they still got to the fucking Super Bowl. They're not giving back the AFC Championship because they of their schedule. You play who's in front of you. You take advantage of a situation. Okay, that's just
Yep.
sometimes that's the luck of the draw in any given year. So they got there. There was a lot of things that was special about that year. The fact that Chris and I put in so much time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into the show, and we got to cover a Yankee World Series. That's always going to be special to me. The fact that that was the first one since I've been a dad, that's always going to be special to me.
Yep.
It was like a new feeling, man. We hadn't experienced that in so long. But if they get back there this year and they lose again, it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be just complete disappointment. What do I wish they would have handled it better? Nestor Cortez, yeah, obviously. And that they
Oh
played
my
better?
god.
Yeah, obviously.
I
But I still take silver linings out of that season. Them losing to the Dodgers again, there would be no silver linings in it. But can I get there? Can I at least get there?
and listen, the it's not always the best team on paper that wins. So it's not. We're not saying that nobody's ever going to beat the Dodgers. At the end of the day, when teams are scorching hot, the Blue Jays were literally half a fucking inch.
They were a
Yeah,
pube from winning the World
from
Series
winning
last
it
year.
all. If if IKF just had the balls of taking a slightly better lead, even though he was told not to, still you're a baseball player. You can take a better lead than that. I don't care what anybody says. But they would have beat the Dodgers. And listen, now I'm sorry, but I don't want to see them three-peat. So whoever's gonna win, they better fucking beat the Dodgers because that's gonna erase another memory. We have the last three-peat as a Yankee fan. And another thing I'm adding to your what you were saying is I got to see me and my son watch the Yankees first time in the World Series, and he had to sit there and watch his favorite player drop a fly ball, and then the Yankees lose that game, and then he cried, and I was like, "You're growing up to being a fan. It's a lot. It's not easy, you know. Being a Yankee fan, a Giant fan, and a Knicks fan. Shit, we haven't won in a while. Now I don't care if the Giants could suck for the rest of eternity. To me, beating the Patriots twice is worth everything. But I do like where they're going now. We got a great coach, so we'll talk about that some other day. But yeah, man, to your point, let's get there. And the trade deadline for the Yankees this year is going to be big. And the nights at the round table, we'll see how we feel with this team because we're still a month away from spring training. So you know, a lot of surprises happening.
34
Somebody had
days till opening day.
somebody had a setback, un, discomfort. We hate that word, but you know what that word leads to. So there could be a lot of setbacks where they were like in the beginning of
Bro,
the
don't
season, we're
tell
like,
me
all
you
right, here
weren't
we go.
shitting a brick when you heard about Cam Schlittler last week.
Absolutely, absolutely. I said this is not what the Yankees need right now.
I mean, Meredith, I think it was Meredith that posted today that everything came out well after the bullpen. He's scheduled to throw another one, and then he'll face hitters.
Yep. And even Rodon's threw a bullpen too, right? Or no?
I think he,
If anybody in the
It
chat know
has.
if wrote down, I believe he did. Oh no, he was. I think it was thrown in the outfield. He was just throwing. But
He might make
again,
some start. He might make some starts toward the end of spring. They were saying.
I'm
T.
is
Rivera
so
goes slitting bricks.
is Cole gonna make
But
any starts in spring training?
I don't believe so. I don't think they said. I heard maybe it depends, but it doesn't look like it's something that they're gonna really plan on doing.
Mm,
You figure he's
well,
gonna have 2 months to make rehab starts. You know, they're not gonna rush him, nor should they
I guess we're
really.
going to Somerset again, right?
Yeah, we're going to Somerset again. Absolutely. I told my cousin that if his first start's at Yankee Stadium, which it better be, we're there. I don't want to hear any bullshit. But
So Gerrit Cole's gonna have is gonna have to carry this team on his back because that's what Brian Cashman sold to the Yankee fans. But if there's one guy I could put money behind is Gerrit Cole. So
he's focused. He wants this, and
absolutely.
we'll see if it pans out in the end. But Kev, man, running almost an hour and a half here, bro.
Look at us, baby.
I thought this conversation was going to be over after 40 minutes, but it just kept going and going. I
And we're
can't
not even
wait.
fighting yet.
No, we haven't even begun to fight yet. I can't wait for the Bronx or Nowhere to officially debut in March, man. We're going to have so much fun doing this show and talking about this team. I just want to plug a couple of things. If you guys are
Oh, he's gonna plug.
if you guys are in the chat here, you want to support me, man, please follow me on X at Christian_NYYST. And please follow me on TikTok at Christian.NYYST. The NYYST podcast is still producing episodes every Monday morning. So head on over to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and subscribe there. And you can catch also on that same feed the my limited run Rocky podcast, The Thrill of the Fight. Episode 6 just dropped where I talked about Rocky 5, which apparently triggered a lot of people on TikTok because apparently there are people exist that think that is a good movie, but you can go listen to the episode right now and tell me if I'm wrong. And, please make sure if you've been in the chat all night tonight, we love you guys so much. Make sure you are subscribed to NYY Underground, like this video, and make sure you are subbed. Pete's going to be doing game season tomorrow for the spring training opener. I'm pumped up and excited, man. I know we talk a lot of shit about this team and everything that we hate that they've done, but once they're on the field, man, you just being a fan just takes over, and it's just a great feeling getting to watch baseball again.
Absolutely. I mean, it's great to see. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm gonna be tuning in. It's rare. There it is. The Zoom by itself. It's zooming into the Rocky. You talking shit about Rocky, but listen, it's always nice for spring training to start because it's like the appetizer to baseball. It's everywhere, and the MLB has done cool things like the futures game, which I advise everybody to see, so you guys can get a glimpse of the prospects of the Yankees. Also, I mean, everybody talk. I just want to go ahead and say this. Everybody talking about Carlos LaGrange. This is why you guys got to follow the U. Smack that like, hit that sub. Yankees Farm has been talking about LaGrange for the ages. We talked about him, Augustine, Caleb Durbin, Ben Rice. We talked about a lot of those guys before people were talking about them in big media. So,
you're a big fan of big media.
So listen, man. I'm excited for this year. Bronx or Nowhere is gonna be epic. I mean, me and Christian, we have fun. We do fight a lot in our chat. I think that's gonna bleed into the show. It's just all fun and games, and this Yankee team always brings out the best in each other. So it's always a blast. Thank you so much. Smack that like, hit that sub. See you guys on the next one. The WBC is soon. Don't forget that too. Here on the U, I think Pete will let you guys know tomorrow. It's gonna be so much WBC stuff. Christian, I invite you to come and
I'll come hang out. All right. We love you guys so much. Have a good night. We'll see you next time.
We got it next. That's how you finesse. We come for they next. We come to collect. Did it all on my own, yeah. When it brought it back home, yeah. Now they calling my phone, yeah. But I'm all in my zone. They not a threat. Tell them reset. When they're at their best. We still not impressed. Did it all on my own, yeah. When it brought it back home, yeah. Bought a watch with the stones, yeah. Caught them watching my throne, yeah. Ain't no one doing the shit that we doing. Ain't nobody moving.